tuned to Planet Vero Radio. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is the Patient Partners Show. We are broadcast on 101.7 FM WCZR Real Radio, and this is also podcast on Spreaker and then distributed on all its platforms. We're going to follow up because I find this is such an interesting topic, and I want to catch it in the act, if you will, because Jeannie Roller and I, my co-host, we have been working on this for quite a few years now, talking about patient dignity, patient respect in the medical arena. And I certainly want to give, one of the things that Jeannie and I do is try to give as much information as we can that we find out from different avenues about how medical care can be better for patients. And this is one of those. It's a garment that two women, Sarah Dorband and Lauren Orlick, have invented, devised, if you will, because of their own personal experiences. And it's not necessarily about modesty, it's about respect and dignity. And this is called the Heart Snug. It is a bra. It is brought to the forefront by them. And we want to get more involved with this. We had a podcast a while ago, 10 minutes goes fast. Sarah and Lauren, tell me why people have to have this and how is it being perceived from the medical community alone. Can people bring this into their procedure with them? That's what I want to do. I actually did it with a procedure with a bra that someone else sent me. I mean, the more the merrier, whatever you're comfortable with type of bra that you can wear for these procedures. I brought it into mine and I said, you know what? I'm going here for foot surgery or whatever. I'm going to keep this bra on. The medical community that I was with that time said, absolutely, it doesn't matter. You know, this is not a big deal. So tell us about that, you know, how the medical community is receiving this. And what about the patients? Can we bring it in with us?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, I want to first thank you for having us again. We're really excited to be here today talking about Heart Snug. And yes, absolutely, we are empowering. We're working at all angles, right? So we were empowering patients we're about to launch on Amazon in the next week or so. So definitely follow us on Instagram at Heart Snug to find out the most up-to-date information and where you can buy Heart Snug. But we're working with medical providers and clinics to be able to offer Heart Snug as you walk in, so that you're not just given the one size fits all medical gown. So it's a simply put, a disposable medical bra to fit majority of body types that is extremely well made and can be used during multiple time opening closures within various your visit.
Elastic band, and it has also got a Velcro closure, and it's like a paper kind of material.
It's a disposable garment. It's medical grade. It's been tested. It's Prop 65 compliant. There's no metal in it, so it can be used in MRIs, which I don't know if you've had one, but they can be very claustrophobic. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you're able to wear one, especially for menopausal women in particular. They can be very claustrophobic. So you're able to wear one. You're able to wear it in ultrasounds with EKG leads. I actually recently wore mine. My background is I have a complex heart defect. I recently wore mine in my treadmill stress test, because typically women that go on the stress test, you wear the gown, but you're not able to wear a bra because doctors need to have access to the chest at any moment, and there's also a lot of leads on you. Uh-huh. I always felt like it slowed me down because of, obviously jogging on a treadmill or walking at a fast pace. I wore mine and I was able to increase my speed and length of stay, which just gave more data to my cardiologist. So we see it in many facets being very beneficial.
Yeah, it's a movement that needs it's time. It's overtime. I mean, we talked about it off air. Remember when a woman was going to go in and have a baby and she was on her own. Nobody can go with her. You can't have any significant other. You can't have the father. You can't have anyone with you. And that took so long to change that whole thing. That's the way I feel about this stuff now. We're not trying, personally, I am not trying to take over the medical community whatsoever. I am not a doctor. I'm not any of those things. But we do bring insight to a lot of these procedures that we're not comfortable with, these things that we're told to do. Strip from the waist up, strip from the head down to the toes. we're questioning why this has to be done when it's not necessarily a sterile atmosphere completely in that area. So, I mean, again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know all these things. I can hear listeners saying, well, what does she know? She's not a doctor. We've been on these procedures. I get that. But we need to have the conversation. I mean, I think both Lauren and Sarah can agree with me. Jeannie Rollo, my co-host as well. We need to have the conversation to try to figure this out, just like we figured out that it wasn't the wrong move for the father of the child to be able to be in the area giving comfort and support to his wife. I mean, that's a normal thing now. Back 50 years ago or 40 years ago, it wasn't. So what do you guys think about that? Yeah.
Yeah. And we're not saying that everybody has modesty issues or, feels uncomfortable getting undressed under a medical gown, but it should be the patient's choice and rights. And we're just saying, let's move the needle on medical garments. There's been zero to none around innovation around the design of medical garments. I mean, maybe they put for children's design, they put a bear or soccer ball. But as far as women, modesty and just something to protect them physically and mentally, I mean, this is just a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, it's about dignity and respect. I mean, I don't like to use the modesty word because then it kind of puts it back on the patient, that the patient has a problem. I mean, I've been told that too. I've been told many things. Jeannie, you certainly know that as well. It's just about respect and dignity. I mean, I don't want to say it's corporate health care anymore, but in a lot of situations it is. And that's where I sort of have the problem, where we have all lost our, I don't want to say independence, but our rights to be able to say, well, I'm not comfortable with that. I mean, I'm personally not comfortable with blah, 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 blah. I mean, I've said it and, been made the bad guy, but that's how things change, too. Again, I'm not trying to take over the medical community, but I am trying to bring my input to it, and so are either of you ladies, Jeannie as well, I should say 3 ladies, to get stuff changed. And let's talk about this stuff. I mean, that's how they do things.
What I'd say also is making changes and, for example, incorporating Heart Snug in these clinics and hospitals can actually reduce lawsuits from inappropriate doctor behavior and touching. Most doctors are good doctors, like everything, but there's always the exception. And I think it removes the onus on the doctor in addition, because often I'm sure they feel very uncomfortable. And we've actually done a lot of research around that subject, and they would prefer to have this. You're often asked if you'd like a chaperone in the room. It would be nice if a woman could just wear a bra underneath, and it can be unvelcroed when that area of the chest needed to be looked at, and then velcroed back up.
Yeah.
So that's.
Well, it's another layer of protection. I mean, there's been so many lawsuits. Jeannie and I have talked about it, I mean, over and over again, sexual assault lawsuits, rape, those kind of things in the atmosphere. So, give another layer of protection, literally and figuratively, to what the patient is being confronted with. And there's certainly so many more. I don't know what the statistics are. I could look it up. Of people that have procedures nowadays, as opposed to what maybe you used to have 20, 40, 50, 60, whatever years ago. You just didn't have as many. And so same as with the people in the medical arena. There's different education for different people, and sometimes that doesn't matter. We talk about that too. But, here's another layer of protection that maybe can help people and make people honestly feel better about a procedure and actually have it. I've personally left procedures because I wasn't comfortable with it and I didn't reschedule it. So I'm just throwing that out. A lot of people feel the same way and they just won't go to the medical community anymore. So if you want people as patients, you want to have a business, if you will, you need people as patients, and this is just something else that steps into that. So it is heartsnug.com is the website. It's HEARTSNUG.com is the website. You can look up more information. You are on Instagram. Give that address as well.
We are at Heart Snug on Instagram. So definitely follow us. And to answer your question, that according to the National Institute of Health in 2020, 310 million major surgeries were performed globally each year. And so that's just categorizing major surgery.
Yeah,
so
I hear you.
Imagine all the other.
We're talking
a massive number.
Yeah, massive numbers. So on that note, heartsnug.com, you've been listening to Planet Vero Radio. Please stay tuned.